The warning siren screamed through the mining station as Marcus Thompson wiped sweat from his forehead. The asteroid field around Kepler 442b had been quiet for months, but today something was wrong. Very wrong. Marcus rushed to the observation deck, his heavy boots clanging against metal floors. Through the reinforced windows, he saw debris floating past. Not asteroid fragments. Ship pieces. Alien ship pieces. Thompson, get to airlock 7. His supervisor's voice crackled through the comm system. We got survivors. Marcus changed direction, his heart pounding. First contact protocols were clear. No unauthorized interaction with alien species. But survivors meant someone needed help. At the airlock, he found chaos. Security officers surrounded a small figure huddled on the floor. Through their legs, Marcus glimpsed pale blue skin and silver hair. A child. An alien child, but unmistakably a child. The little girl couldn't have been more than 6 or 7 in human years. Her large violet eyes were wide with terror, and strange musical sounds came from her throat. Crying. She was crying. Back away, the security chief barked. We don't know what diseases it might carry. Marcus felt something twist in his chest. The child was bleeding from a cut on her arm, purple blood seeping through her torn clothing. Her small body shook with fear. She's hurt, Marcus said, pushing forward. She needs medical attention. Not our problem, the chief replied. Containment team is coming. The child's eyes met Marcus's. In that moment, he saw not an alien, but a terrified little girl who had lost everything. Her ship was destroyed. Her family was probably dead. Without thinking, Marcus shoved past the security officers. He knelt beside the child, pulling off his jacket. It's okay, he said softly, wrapping the jacket around her trembling form. You're safe now. The child stopped crying. She stared at him, then slowly reached out a small hand with 4 delicate fingers. Marcus took it gently. What are you doing? The chief shouted. You just violated first contact protocol. Marcus didn't care. The child's hand was cold, and she was going into shock. Get medic, he ordered. Now. For 3 hours, Marcus stayed with the child in the medical bay. The doctors were hesitant at first, but her anatomy was similar enough to human that they could treat her wounds. She wouldn't let go of Marcus's hand the entire time. Through gestures and patience, Marcus learned her name sounded like Zura. She showed him images on a small device she carried. Her ship had been attacked by pirates. Her mother had put her in an escape pod just before the explosion. We'll find your mother, Marcus promised, though he doubted anyone else had survived. Days passed. Zara refused to be separated from Marcus. She followed him everywhere, learning human words with astonishing speed. The mining station's crew slowly warmed to her. She was curious about everything, touching screens and asking questions in her musical voice that grew clearer each day. Marcus taught her to eat human food, though she preferred the vegetable dishes. He showed her human games, and she laughed for the first time when he made funny faces. At night, she had nightmares, and Marcus would sit by her bed, holding her hand until she fell asleep again. The company executives were furious. Marcus had broken dozen regulations. They wanted Zara transferred to a research facility on Earth. Marcus refused. She's not a specimen, he argued in meeting after meeting. She's a child who needs stability and care. 3 weeks after the rescue, Marcus was in the cafeteria with Zara, teaching her to use a fort properly when alarms blared again. This time it wasn't debris. A massive ship appeared on the screens, unlike anything in human databases. Elegant and organic-looking, it dwarfed the mining station. Incoming transmission, someone yelled. The main screen flickered to life. A tall figure appeared, with the same pale blue skin and silver hair as Zara. But where Zara was delicate, this being radiated power. Her violet eyes blazed with an intensity that made everyone step back. Zara gasped. Mama! The alien woman's gaze swept the room until it found her daughter. Then it locked onto Marcus, who still had his arm protectively around Zara. You have my child, the woman said in accented but clear English. I am Commander Lyra of the Ashani Collective. You will return her immediately. The room erupted in panic. First contact with an alien military commander. Marcus felt Zara grip his hand tighter. Mama, Zara said in her own language, then switched to English. This is Marcus. He saved me. He took care of me. Commander Lyra's expression didn't change. Release my daughter, human. Marcus stood slowly, keeping Zara behind him. She was injured and alone. We gave her medical care and shelter. We mean no harm. Your intentions are irrelevant, Lyra said coldly. You will transfer her to my ship now. But Zara shook her head, clinging to Marcus. I want to say goodbye properly, she said in the Ashani language her mother had taught her. For the first time, Lyra's expression softened slightly. She studied Marcus more carefully, noting how he positioned himself to protect Zara, how gently he held her hand. 5 minutes, Lyra said finally. Then, you'll bring her to Docking Bay 1. The docking bay felt colder than space itself as Marcus walked with Zara toward the airlock. Station security lined the walls, weapons lowered but ready. Through the massive transparent aluminum windows, the Ashani ship loomed like a living creature, its hull shifting with colors humans had no names for. Zara's small hand trembled in his. She had barely spoken since seeing her mother on the screen, and Marcus could feel the conflict radiating from her small form. Joy at her mother's survival warred with fear of leaving the safety she had found. You'll be okay, Marcus whispered, kneeling to her level. Your mom came all this way to find you. She must love you very much. Zara's violet eyes filled with tears. But what about you? You're my friend. My first human friend. Marcus's throat tightened. In 3 weeks, this little alien girl had carved out a place in his heart he didn't know existed. I'll always be your friend, no matter how far apart we are. The airlock hissed open. Commander Lyra stood there, and Marcus got his first real look at an adult Ashani. She was tall, maybe 7 feet, with an athlete's grace despite her imposing presence. Her skin had a faint luminescence, and her silver hair moved as if underwater. But it was her eyes that struck him most. The same violet as Zara's, but ancient, holding depths of experience no human could fathom. 2 guards flanked her, their armor seeming to bend light around them. Their weapons were elegant things that hummed with quiet menace. Zara, Lyra said, and her voice in person was like a symphony compressed into words. She spoke in their language, musical notes that Marcus couldn't understand but felt in his bones. Zara replied in the same language, gesturing repeatedly at Marcus. Whatever she said made Lyra's eyes narrow. The commander stepped forward, and Marcus instinctively moved Zara behind him. You dare. Lyra's voice dropped dangerously. You place yourself between a mother and her child. I'm not trying to keep her from you, Marcus said, standing his ground despite every instinct screaming at him to run. But she's scared. This has been traumatic for her. Please, just be gentle. Lyra studied him for a long moment. Scared? My daughter is Ashani. We do not know fear. She's also a child, Marcus replied. And she watched her world explode. She thought she lost you. That would terrify anyone. Something flickered in Lyra's eyes. She spoke again in her language, softer this time. Zara peeked out from behind Marcus and took a tentative step forward. Mother and daughter stood facing each other, and then Zara ran into Lyra's arms. The reunion should have been beautiful, but Marcus noticed things. How stiffly Lyra held her daughter. How her eyes remained locked on Marcus over Zara's shoulder. How her guards hadn't relaxed even slightly. After a moment, Lyra set Zara down. Gather yourself, child. We leave immediately. But, Mama, Zara said, switching to English deliberately. Marcus saved me. He stayed with me when I was scared. He taught me about humans. Can't we know? Lyra's tone cut like ice. The human has been compensated by your survival. We owe him nothing. Marcus saw Zara's face crumble. Something hot flared in his chest. Compensated? I didn't save her for payment. I saved her because she needed help. Humans always want payment, Lyra said coldly. Your species' history is littered with examples. You help only when it benefits you. You don't know me, Marcus said, his voice hardening. And you don't know what Zara's been through. She has nightmares every night about the attack. She wakes up screaming for you. I held her while she cried herself back to sleep. So don't tell me about compensation. I did it because she needed someone, and I was there. The docking bay fell silent. Even the air recyclers seemed to pause. Lyra's guard shifted, hands moving to weapons, but she raised a hand to stop them. You held my daughter while she cried? Lyra's voice was strange, caught between anger and something else. Someone had to, Marcus said simply. She was alone and terrified. What was I supposed to do? Leave her in a cell. Zara tugged on her mother's flowing garment. He taught me to read human words. And he shared his food even when supplies were low. And he got in trouble for keeping me safe. His boss was very angry. Lyra's gaze moved between her daughter and Marcus. You risked your position for her. Marcus shrugged. They wanted to send her to a lab, turn her into a test subject. I couldn't let that happen. So you defied your own kind for an alien child you had never met before? She needed help. Marcus repeated. That's all that mattered. Lyra was quiet for a long time. When she spoke again, her voice had changed. The pirates who attacked us were human. Marcus felt his blood chill. What? Modified humans, but humans nonetheless. They've been raiding the outer systems, stealing Ashani technology. They knew our route. They knew Zara would be aboard. Lyra's eyes bored into him. So forgive me if I do not trust your species' intentions. I'm not them, Marcus said firmly. Humans aren't all the same, any more than all Ashanti are the same. Some of us are good, some are bad. But I promise you, I would die before I let anyone hurt Zara. Interesting, Lyra murmured. She turned to her daughter. Is this truth, Zara? Would this human protect you? Zara nodded emphatically. He already did, Mama. When the security wanted to lock me away, he stood in front of them. When the doctors were scared to touch me, he made them help. When I couldn't sleep, he sang me human songs. You sang to her? Marcus flushed. She liked Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. It reminded her of home. Lyra made a sound that might have been a laugh or a sob. Show me. I'm sorry. Show me how you care for my daughter. I need to see. Marcus led them through the mining station, acutely aware of Lyra's presence behind him. She moved silently despite her height, and her guards followed like shadows. Station personnel pressed against walls to let them pass, eyes wide with fear and wonder. This is where Zara stayed, Marcus said, opening the door to his quarters. He'd given up his room for her, sleeping on a cot in the corner. The walls were covered with Zara's drawings, strange swirling patterns mixed with crude attempts at human figures. A small bed had been fashioned from storage crates and spare blankets. Lyra entered slowly, taking in every detail. Her fingers traced the drawings, pausing at one showing two figures holding hands, one small and blue, one larger and pink. That's us, Zara explained proudly. Marcus and me. See, I drew his funny round ears. My ears aren't that round, Marcus protested gently, and Zara giggled. Lyra moved to the makeshift bed, noting the human stuffed animal tucked under the pillow. You gave her your possessions? It's just a teddy bear, Marcus said. My mom sent it in a care package. Zara had nightmares, and it seemed to help. Show me more. They continued the tour. The cafeteria where Marcus had taught Zara to use utensils. The observation deck where they watched stars together. The recreation room where she learned to play simple video games. At each location, Zara chattered excitedly in a mix of English and Ashanti, telling her mother every small detail. And here, Zara said, dragging them to the medical bay, is where Dr. Peterson fixed my arm. She was scared at first, but Marcus told her I was brave, so she was brave too. Dr. Peterson looked up from her work, freezing when she saw Lyra. Oh, Commander, I hope the treatment was satisfactory.